Hi YouTube, it's Kim. I wanted to talk to you today about the healing foods that I eat to help heal my psoriasis. So the main thing that I try to consume on a daily basis is fruits and vegetables. And they just have every nutrient that your body needs to just thrive. And it's hard to get a lot of vegetables in, right? I mean, I think the servings that we're supposed to have are between 6 and 9 a day. And that's tough. So what I like to do is I like to juice them. And I know that juicing is kind of a huge frenzy lately, so I'm sure you've heard of it. And if you don't mind the cleanup, owning a juicer is really wonderful because you can just make all sorts of juices whenever you feel like it. For breakfast, for a snack, for dessert, whatever tickles your fancy. So I actually have one right here that I just made. And it's really delicious. It's oranges and apples, ginger, carrots, and lemon. And it's really, really good. So I juice, and that's how I get a lot of my fruits and vegetables in. But sometimes I'm not really in the mood for juice, and I'll want something a little more filling. So I'll make a smoothie for breakfast sometimes, and that is I'll put some kale or spinach, and I'll mix it with some coconut water or some almond milk, and I'll throw in 2 cups of different fruits like banana and pineapple or strawberry, and it's delicious. It's so filling, it's so good for you. It's the perfect thing to start your day out nice, and your cells are just being completely bathed in nutrients and all of the antioxidants that they need to just thrive. So the other thing I try to consume as much as I can is whole grains. So I love brown rice, quinoa, which technically is a seed, but I'll just throw it in the grains category right now. Buckwheat is good. I have that sometimes in the morning with some fruit as like a cereal. I've been wanting to play around with making millet and amaranth. I haven't gotten there yet, but whole grains are wonderful. They're so full of fiber, and fiber is really good for our guts. Fights inflammation, and that's what we want. We want to stick to foods that don't create inflammation in our guts. So what do we got? We got fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts. Nuts are so wonderful because you can just chop them up, eat them plain, throw them in a smoothie, throw them in cereal, throw them in oatmeal. There's so much you can do. You could sprinkle them on a meal, on a salad. But they're so filled with vitamins. They have vitamin E and selenium and magnesium, just all these vitamins that our bodies need. And they they're filled with fiber as well. And they're a great protein source, and they really help our guts. So nuts are awesome. If you can have a few little bit of nuts a day, great. And I'm not referring to peanuts. Peanuts is actually not really a nut, but I'll get to peanuts another time. But what I'm really talking about is almonds, raw almonds, cashews, hazelnuts, pecans. Brazil nuts actually protect us from cancer. So, to have 2 or 3 Brazil nuts every single day is not really asking for a lot, right? And then there's also beans, which is another great source of fiber. And beans are just wonderful for digestion. They regulate our blood sugar, they fight cholesterol, they prevent heart disease and all these horrible diseases because they're again, full of fiber and so good for our guts. There's also seeds like chia seeds. I actually have some here. I wanted to talk about some of the things I have. So here's some raw almonds and some chia seeds. Things you can throw in smoothies. Again, seeds are so filled with so many great vitamins. And hemp seeds I have as well. Those are fantastic. I really put seeds in everything that I can. Every single time I make a smoothie, I always put a tablespoon of chia seeds or flax or hemp. Every single day I have to have a little bit of seeds. They just have so many wonderful benefits. And then as far as cooking with oils, I try to stick to oils from Mother Nature. So olive, coconut, walnut, avocado, sesame. The one thing I've noticed that my skin really appreciates is when I stick to Mother Earth. So with oils I do that, with sugar I do that. If I want to use some sugar, I'll use either some raw honey or maple syrup, agave, or stevia. I try to stick with what comes from a plant or a tree. And I feel like there was one more thing I wanted to mention. and I just can't remember. Oh, dairy, yes. So dairy substitutes. Dairy is an inflammatory food, and I try to stay away from dairy as much as I can. So I love almond milk. I love coconut milk. Those are kind of my two go-tos. And they do have some really great cheese that is for vegans in Whole Foods and stores like that. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. But you know, there's other ingredients in there that my skin doesn't really like. So I'll buy something like that once in a while. I won't make it, you know, an everyday thing. But if I'm missing cheese, which I do all the time, I will run out to Whole Foods and grab a little soy cheese and have a little bit of that. Again, it's not my everyday go-to or anything like that. So there you go. You have kind of just like a very little general, you know, idea of what I eat. And as far as animal protein, sometimes my body wants animal protein. And if it does, I listen to it. So, but if I do buy chicken or salmon, I just make sure that the chicken is organic and, you know, cage-free and non-GMO, and I make sure that the salmon is wild caught instead of farmed. So it's just the safest bet. And you know what you're putting in your body. You know that it's not pumped with anything, any hormones or any pesticides and all these chemicals. And that's what we want to kind of avoid. You want to avoid the inflammatory foods that is making your psoriasis or your skin disease inflamed. So I stay away from red meat, dairy, sugar, refined sugar, and processed food. And I also am very anti-medication, but you know, sometimes you get sick and sometimes you have to take them. So I just do my best. If I have to take an antibiotic when I'm ill, I just make sure I'm taking a probiotic as well. And yeah, so that's just a gist. If you guys have any questions, please ask me. I'd be happy to share recipes. And I think that's the whole key here, is making healthy food taste yummy. That was my first biggest challenge. And now my challenge is just finding the time to cook. But honestly, my first biggest challenge was making things taste good. And I've really got that down now. Like my juice. I mean, this is like the most delicious thing you could ever drink. And all I'm drinking is fruit and a vegetable. So if I could do it, you could do it. And my skin loves it. So yours will too. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.